The second part.
Yes, but I wanted to know if it was coming through there.
To bring in Shabbat together in community. And all the more so special this evening when we're joined by Yale Strom and Elizabeth Schwartz of Hot Pastrami. A big thank you to the Refuge for our delicious and appropriately named Shabbos dinner this evening. And of course, a warm welcome and many thank yous to our artists and residents this weekend. Yale Strom is not only a musician, but also a composer, filmmaker, writer, photographer, and playwright. Since Strom's first band began in 1981, he's been composing his own new Jewish music, which combines klezmer with Hasidic Midunim, Romani, jazz, classical, Balkan, and Sephardic motifs. With a very impressive background and talented presence, we are so lucky to have one of the world's most productive and influential scholar artists of klezmer culture and history with us this weekend. Elizabeth Schwartz is also a member of Hot Pastrami and has collaborated in performance and recordings with notable musicians from the jazz and folk music worlds. There's also a documentary film called Searching for Schwartz based on her, and she's been featured in several other films. We are truly in the company of masters this weekend. We thank you so much for being with us. Jewish musician Joey Weisenberg writes, there are two sides to the art of music. One is music making, such as singing or playing notes on one's instrument, and the other is listening, in which one pays special attention to the other sounds in one's environment and merges one's own music with the music around. Music can be planned in practice, whereas listening is spontaneous and unpredictable. He writes, listening is an art too. We are each invited into the music making in our unique and collective ways this evening. May the spontaneity of our shared artistry this Shabbat bring us into the sweet repose of Shabbos rejuvenation. I also want to extend a warm thank you to the Brotherhood for inviting Yale and Elizabeth as our 2022 Rick Cadet Memorial Scholar in Residence. To begin our sacred time together, I invite members of the Brotherhood to come up and light our Shabbos candles. The Shabbat candle blessings can be found on page 2 of your seat. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
We're going to see you again at the end of services, helping us to add some more joy with Kiddush and Motzi. But for now, we really appreciate your planning that happened to bring Yale and Elizabeth with us this weekend.
We turn to page 20 for the Lachadavi.
rise to face our entrance to greet Shabbat. Boli Shalom, Erev, Gam Simcha, U'Besochoda, Tov Emunei, Amsetuha, Boli Kala, Boli
Now that our spirits are awakened and ready to pray, we'll stay standing as we're able and join together for our call of prayer, the Baruch Hu on page 28. Please remain standing as you're able and comfortable as we turn to page 34 for our Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
You're invited to be seated, and we'll continue with the Ve'ahavta on page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzarecha hayom al levavecha V'shiratam levanecha v'divartam v'shivtecha v'techa u'blechtecha b'derech u'shotbecha u'kunecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu totachot b'neinecha u'ktavtam al zuzot b'techa u'isharecha למען תזכרו עשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני The words of the Mi Chamocha text come from the Song of the Sea in the Torah portion of Shalach, and the Shabbat where we read this Torah portion, which will be in early February in this Jewish year, is known as Shabbat Shirah, the Shabbat of Song, because of this, one of our most ancient texts, the Song of the Sea. We know from this story that God has just split the waters of the Sea of Reeds, and the Israelites have passed through them. And then the Song of the Sea immediately follows. The medieval scholar Rashi comments that when Moses saw the miracle of the splitting of the waves, it rose in his heart that he should sing a song. Responding to moments of awe and wonder and change, Moses, Miriam, and the Israelites respond with song. We carry that song with us, and we sing the words of Mi Chamocha on page 40.
So we're going to teach you a new Mi Chamocha tonight because we have the microphone. So we'll do it a couple of times, just until it's in your ear and you can let it fly. We'll do it slowly, okay? You don't have to play it off? Okay.
I should know it.
I'm not sure. You should know it, yeah, you wrote it.
I wrote it, that's true. I've written many hundreds of songs. It's like, wow, I was having sort of a junior moment a while back, so. It's all that her. She wasn't better than me.
Well, that's putting me on the spot. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, mi chamocha, Elim Adonai. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, mi chamocha, Neder Kodesh, Nora Tehilo, Nora Tehilo, Nora Tehilo, Osevele, Adonai lo, Adonai lo, Adonai lo, Leon Vaed. That's it. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, mi chamocha, Elim Adonai. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, mi chamocha, Neder Kodesh, Nora Tehilo, Nora Tehilo, Nora Tehilo, Osevele, Adonai lo, Adonai lo, Adonai lo. One more time. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, mi chamocha, Elim Adonai. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, mi chamocha, Neder Kodesh, Nora Tehilo, Nora Tehilo, Nora Tehilo, Osevele, Adonai lo, Adonai lo, Adonai lo, Leolam Vaed.
Thank you for teaching us. We're going to take that energy and we're going to bring it a little bit inwards. We sing Hashkivenu, asking for shelter and protection. Night is already here. It gets so dark at this time of year. And so we sing these words on page 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Pros aleinu sukkot shlomecha, pros aleinu sukkot shlomecha.
wings fly. Teach us, God, our wrong from right. Amen. Amen. Amen.
As we move into the Amidah, we'll begin out loud together on page 46 with an invitation to prayer. We'll then take our song and bring it inward for a silent Amidah, an opportunity for individual prayer and reflection. We invite you to rise as you're able on page 46, to be seated when you're ready to return from your silent prayer. rejuvenate our lives.
Rejuvenate our
O world of miracles, you are supremely broken. Your shards are painful and cutting. Your pieces are scattered across the globe, aching for wholeness. May the fragments of our world and the brokenness of our souls be blessed with strength, wisdom, and compassion. May we be whole again, quickly in our days. Rabbi Alex Weissman. If you are praying for healing tonight, for a loved one, or maybe for yourself, we invite you to share names in our chat on Zoom, or to rise in the sanctuary to be recognized by the community. If you are standing, we invite you to speak those names out loud together, all at once. Many voices sharing many names in this space, for holding that brokenness and wholeness, for being together in hurt and in healing. I invite you to share out loud. To those names we're also holding Stephanie Levitt, Marilyn Greenwald, Marcia Regolin, Francie Karp, Evan Bin, Lynn Etlinger, Larry Margolis, Gary Urban, Larry Thurman, Rebecca Frazier, Marcel Frazier, Sherry Berenstein, Maxine Rogo, Hari Meskin, David Habib, Lev Heschel Ben-Bat-Ami, Suzanne Price, Carol Kleinman, Sergio Ripka, Jessica Bobson, Abdullah Ibrahim, Cindy Grimes, Louis Eliscu, Dolores Gold, Elisheva Khanna, Sophia Khanna, Debbie Nazarian, Bob Berry, Justin Ben David Michol Medina Lea, Steve Cookman, Alfie Gross, Gail Rosenberg, Richard Maltzman, and Ken Duala. Wishing for a quick and speedy and whole healing. We are so delighted to have an opportunity tonight to learn more from our guests, from our scholars and residents, Elizabeth and Yale, who have created something for our community. So we're excited to learn from you.
Yeah, that Sabbath violin instrument, so we have to keep turning brand new for the Sabbath.
So this melody, there's an A and a B and a C and a D section, and the C and D section have some words to it. I'm sure you will recognize them. What's interesting about the melody is I knew the melody, I knew the C and the D sections growing up, going to the shul as a kid in Detroit. And I didn't know there was an A and an E section until I heard this old 78 recording. 78, right? Remember that? 78.
You're making it come back.
It's making, yeah, if you have 78, so throw them away, see me. What's interesting about this, you'll hear the melody, the chord structure is very similar to many of the melodies that accompany flamenco dance. And it should be a shocker, because flamenco dance, of course, a beautiful art form from the Gitanos of Andalusia, Spain, but they've only been there since really pretty much the 15th century. But another group of people have been there before the Common Era, and that's the Jews. And the Jews brought these scales to Andalusia, which then the Gitanos incorporated, also bringing, though, interesting rhythms as they had traveled for several hundred years, having originated from Rajasthan and Buluchistan in India and Pakistan. And hearing rhythms that they brought with them abroad, and of course North Africa, crossing the Straits of Gibraltar into Andalusia. But so when you hear these scales, or you hear this beginning of the melody, you can imagine a flamenco guitarist. And so it's the Jews that introduced these scales to northern Morocco and southern Spain.
That was it.
That's it. something that I am doing, something musical, perhaps. So I read the parsha actually a few times. Vayetze, right? Look forward. And it's a very interesting parsha, the story. So I'm going to kind of go over a few sections, but what I wanted to kind of get into is how we maintain or why we maintain certain customs and how that helps us. One finds their own particular way in Judaism. We have synagogues that are full, and we have synagogues that are empty. And there are Jews who never step in a synagogue, but that doesn't mean they're not very Jewish. It just means that they're finding something within themselves, whatever that is that connects them. For myself, I grew up in a traditional Jewish home. As I was telling Dick Hyman tonight, I grew up in a home where I say I'm a product of the two H's, so to speak, or really a chet and a hey, let's be specific, and that is on the right. I grew up with a strong knowledge and attachment to my right, the Hasidim, but on my left, I grew up also with a strong attachment and history and knowledge from both my parents, but particularly my father, the Hashomer HaTzair, which if you don't know, that is a social scientist that really don't want much to do with Hasidim. So I'm kind of that weird product in between, to appreciate the different traditions from the very religious to the secular. And I found the combination. I found that for me, what really helped me connect that and me to connect to something greater than myself, he, she, it, they, around me is through the music. So I'll kind of get to that in this short little drasha here. So I did a little research, and how does one connect? Because sometimes you're reading the Chumash, the Torah, and it's stories you've heard before, you forgot. Sometimes you're reading Rashi. This rabbi was giving some wonderful Rashi just a few moments ago, and sometimes we understand it, sometimes it's over our head. So there was a man, a rabbi, his name was Shlomo Gansfried, and interestingly enough, he came from a small town called Umbar, which is Uzhhorod today in southwestern Ukraine, a region I've been to many times. It's the Carpathian Mountains. As a matter of fact, as we were driving up from San Diego yesterday, I said, wow, these could be the Carpathian Mountains. Beautiful mountains. We were seeing 70,000 feet as we came through central and northern California. And so Rabbi Gansfried, what did he do? So he was from Uzhhorod, he became a rabbi, eventually he became a dayan, a religious judge. But he saw the struggle in Hungary, Austro-Hungary, between the Orthodox and what they called the Nelo. And that, matter of fact, it's interesting, only Hungarian Jews know what that term is. We have conservative Judaism, Reform, right, and Reconstructionism, and Orthodox, et cetera, et cetera. So they had Nelo, which was a type of reform. And he was seeing the youth kind of falling away from Orthodoxy and not interested in this sort of bookish Judaism that was taught as they were reading the Torah, but also they had to read the Talmud and so forth and so on. So he wrote a book called Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, the Kitzur, which is short, like abbreviated. The abbreviated Shulchan Aruch, which is means literally the set table, right? And he wrote this in 1866, or 1864 to be exact. Shulchan Aruch from the 16th century, Rabbi Yosef Karo out of Sfat, who wrote this. And what is it? It's really putting in one book all the rules and regulations of our lives It's to follow as Jews. And the halacha, I guess you would say. And so he was trying to find a practical way to teach the halacha to young people, the young generation, that we're not finding how's it practical mean. What are the things I have to do? Why do I do these things? And so I was reading. So I'm going to read some of the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch from Rabbi Gottfried that he connected to the Parsha of the week. So let's see. Let me go backwards here. I'm looking at this. So he says first, by customs, he said to them, why is the reason that we often on Tisha B'Av, not only do we fast, but did you know that some Jews in Eastern Europe slept with a stone under their head? Now you probably know why. If we kind of, yes, why? Because what?
Jacob slept with his stone.
There's the rabbi right there. There's the Chacham over there. There's the Chacham. Yes, excellent. Jacob, right. So he said, so here's an interesting, so he's relating the story to the custom. They said, oh, that's why Baba Zeta sleep with a stone on Tisha B'Av. I didn't understand that. And he says that. He says, it says, by sleeping with a stone under the head, and of course that is from Bereshit 20:29. It says, in the first reading, when Jacob left Beersheba for Haran, he stopped at a place for the night, using a stone for a pillow. He dreams. Some of the pillows I had actually felt like stones, actually. He dreamed that he saw a ladder to heaven on which God's angels ascended and descended, and so forth and so on. And so Gottfried said, in his Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, he said he taught that people should make themselves uncomfortable, right? Uncomfortable when they go to bed at night. If they're used to sleeping with 2 pillows on Tisha B'Av, they should sleep with just 1. If they're used to sleeping with 1 pillow, they should sleep not with none, but a pillow of stone. And so that was kind of an interesting, from a reading this week that you will read, and whoever will have the honor to be called up for that first Aliyah. Another custom from Rabbi Gottfried was, he says, let me just 1 moment, so I'm not losing myself here, because I am, yes. It says, the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch taught that it is forbidden to hold 2 weddings for 2 siblings on the same day, because one should not mix one celebration with another celebration. And the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch reported that some authorities taught that one should not hold 2 weddings for 2 siblings in the same week, because Bereshit, right, 29, verses 27, 28 speaks of the Jacob, Yaakov, fulfilling what? The week of the newlywed. Who does he marry first? Leah, because he was hoping to marry who? Rachel. Right. So that's interesting how he connected that. The second, that's the Aliyah number 2, Shani. Another custom, interesting that he talks about. He says, based on Yaakov's words, the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch taught that just as an employer, this I found most fascinating, since I came from a labor-oriented family. My youth had grown up in Detroit, and if you weren't pro-labor, you'd have your car be stoned or something. He said, based on Jacob's words, the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch taught that just as an employer is enjoined not to steal a poor worker's wages, nor pay them late, a worker is warned not to neglect the employer's work and is obliged to work with all the worker's might, as Yaakov said of his working for Laban. And he says, with all my power, I have served your father. Quote, end quote. Therefore, workers are not allowed to work at night and then hire themselves out during the day, because they will already be weak from their night work. Similarly, the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch taught that one is not allowed to work one's animal by night and then hire it out during the day. And workers are not allowed to starve or stint themselves, because this weakens their strength so that they will not be able to do the work properly. And of course, that 3rd deals with when he is fooled, and of course has to work. First he had to work 7 years, then another 7 years, and of course the custom, just a side note, the custom of the, as we say in Yiddish, the badekin the kala, which means to cover the kala. The chassan comes quietly up to his beautiful kala that he has not seen, right? And we're talking ancient times, you have not seen. Maybe from afar. And so that custom is so that when you uncover the kala, you don't have a kila, you don't faint now. You don't say, oops, that's not the one I thought I was marrying. So that custom sort of tongue in cheek, but that he was fooled. But then the custom also comes from this, and the Kitzur Shulchan teaches us that what do we do now? The custom is because, what does Lavan say? It's not that I wanted to fool you. Yes, because Leah is what? To Rachel. We don't make a shanda. We don't bring shame on the eldest if the youngest is being married before her. So that's why, even in Orthodox families, even through the 21st century, I know this for a fact, there are still those who will go down that pecking order, even though sometimes the youngest say, no, Leah, hurry up, what's going on here? I got someone to marry. So interesting in that custom. Another one from the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch says, this is interesting. Yes, it says that also the doubling of the Hebrew word nichsof, I should say, to express intense longing, also appears by the Swat Rabbi Eliezer Zakira in the Kabbalistic poem Yedid Nefesh, Soul's Beloved, which many congregations chant before Kabbalah Shabbat, because of the longing that Yaakov had, the longing for Rachel as he was waiting and waiting and waiting. And eventually the longing after he marries her, eventually to have his flock be strong enough that he could go out on his own, leave the bond, so he can create his own family. So the musical connection. What is the musical connection? So it's interesting that there's a custom for this particular parsha among Sephardic Jews, particularly those from Morocco, to sing a particular makam. They don't say scales, they say makams. And the makam is a certain scale that the notes that you hear. And the reason why they say, because we sing in this makam scale, because we express happiness, commemorating the joy and happiness of the weddings of Leah and Rachel. Leah, the Rachel. And so they would have this particular makam. And there are still Sephardic Jews that get married during this week. They have songs that are written in this makam. So I will play the makam for you, and then I try to write a song for the shul, for you guys, in this makam. But here's the makam. Here's the scale that they would pick. It's called, if you want to know, it actually has a name. It's called makam ajam, and it's called that because it's a very common scale played in Persian music. New strings. Never change them on the day of a concert. You know how many pounds per pressure on these strings? It's the most of any instrument. The E string is the one you don't want to change. When I was changing E string as a kid, I got scared because it once broke and hit me right here in the nose. And it's a very sharp string. So let's become the scale. Let's see. I was listening to it, copying kind of freely. find that note on the piano, I'll give you $100. Because you can't. It's not on the piano. Because you can't play Jewish music on the piano. And you can't play it on the guitar. Sorry. And you can't even play it on the baritone ukulele. But you can play it with what they would do it beautifully with this. Because Jewish music are all the gray notes. Now, if you got gray notes on that $3,000 Steinway, go get your money back. You got ripped off. What do I mean? They're not the white keys, or not the black keys. Because as humans, we don't have frets like we have our vocal cords. So we can go, right? But you can't do that on the piano. You can do it on a fretless guitar. There you go. Fretless guitar. And a fretless. Anything fretless. So you don't have vocal. Trombone can do it. Because it has a slide. Woodwind instruments, because it works like this. It's like your vocal cords. You blow so you can bend. So it's all about the bending. And why? You'd say, why was Jewish music like that? Because the oldest instrument in the world, before the word Judaism, Islam, and Christianity is what? Is the voice. Right? Millions of years old. And the first tonalities that came out that music ascribed to was what? Tonalities that when we laugh and when we cry. When we hear that. So people, wow, what is that? Because when we all start to laugh, wow, we have such a strange scale in here. And then we all start to cry. You know, so it's all very different. So that's it. So, on that note, I wrote this little, we'll call it a nigun, or a nigun, a melody, wordless one. And we'll just call it Nigun Leah Rachel. Or Rachel Leah. And let me see where I put it. Yeah, I wrote it because I remember it by heart, not yet. It was just a couple days ago. Let's see. So trying to follow this makam. So we'll do it a number of times. And we already know, we've heard the beautiful voice of She'll they will sing along with us. But we'll start it off and then hopefully you can join in. Song during this week when they would marry. And what day would they marry? Certainly not Shabbos, we know. And not Saturday night, generally. What day would they marry during the week? Tuesday. Excellent, Tuesday. Why Tuesday? It's 2 times, so if it's good enough for God, it's got to be good enough for me. 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Rachel or Leah had heard that at their wedding, they would have had a happy occasion.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your Torah, your music, your neshama with us. We're so excited to hear more of it tomorrow night. It's been such a beautiful introduction and such a beautiful Shabbat, so thank you. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to invite our temple president, Roxanne Cohen, who knew the answer to the Tuesday wedding. Very impressive, to share some announcements for our community.
Shabbat Shalom. It's so nice to see everyone. Thank you so much, Yael and Elizabeth, and to our clergy. I have to say, Rabbi Rebecca, especially, your Hashkivenu harmonizing. Can you please do that again? It was Elizabeth? It was you too. It was both of you. Come back. More harmonies. So, yes, and many of you know this is the Rick Cadet Memorial Weekend, with thanks to the Brotherhood. Those of you who knew Rick, he was a leader in our community, a past president of Brotherhood, and what a beautiful way to pay tribute and to honor his memory through a variety of events this weekend. And as Rabbi Lisa mentioned, tomorrow night there's a concert with Hot Pastrami, Yale, and Elizabeth, so please do join us 7 p.m. And Hanukkah now is upon us. It's December, or in the ramp up to the holidays. This Sunday here, the Bethel Women Gift Shop will be open for shopping, all of your Hanukkah needs, your menorahs, your dreidels, your candles, your gifts, your wrapping paper, from 9 to 1. Please do stop by. We also have our Hanukkah concert on December 18th, beginning with the magic show at 3 p.m., followed by the concert and latkes and the menorah lighting, so please do join us. In our adult education, we have our Jewish refresh with Rabbi Rebecca, and we have a new Jewish meditation practice with Saul K that both launched this week. So please see your e-news and sign up, register, bring people with you, the more the merrier. Also looking forward to January, there's a heart-to-heart art workshop sponsored by the Interfaith Friendship Committee and led by our very own Relly Siegel. I also want to say thank you to everyone, many of you in this room who have contributed to our High Giving campaign. We have 282 families who contributed $154,000. Our campaign chairs are here with us. The Garlicoffs, Andy and Julie, thank you for your leadership. And for those who haven't had the opportunity yet to support, we have a generous matching gift opportunity between now and December 31st. Any new or additional gifts will be matched 1-to-1. And it's this generosity that makes everything possible. So please do join us. And I guess that's it. Shabbat Shalom. We have oneg and desserts after, so thank you again. Shabbat Shalom.
We come to Shabbat services for so many reasons, and in the midst of the joy of song and of being together, we know that one of the reasons we come together is to remember in community, to be reminded that we are not alone in our mourning and our remembering. If you are here to say Kaddish, to mark a recent loss or a yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one, we invite you to rise. In recent losses, our community is remembering Murray Julian Blank and Norman Wayne Coleman. And this Shabbat is the yahrzeit of Leonard Barty, Marshall Becker, Roger Berman, Adela Bonilla, Rosalind Epstein, Bert Goldrath, Jack Zachary Greenberg, Ruth R. Jacobson, Ilsa Cleve, Retta Current, Adeline Levine, Irma Mayer, Simon Mayer, Roberta Nevins, Edward Rosenbaum, Ruth Schaefer, Leatrice Schultz-Bronson, Michelle Shalit, Robert Shelley, Abraham Schmidman, Saul Siebser, Ibolika Schlotowski, Ilse Smith, Sam Sokolik, Elsa Sommer, and Jackie Strauss. If there is a name that I left off of this list or that I mispronounced that you would like to say out loud, please do so as I look around the room. We invite you to rise as a community in support of our mourners as we say the words of Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 294. Yitkadam v'yitkadash shemei rabam, ve'almad yivrach yotei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'yumechon u'chayedechol beit Yisrael, ba'adalav yizman hariv v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabam v'barach ve'elam l'omei almayam. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei kudsham v'rifu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran ve'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru amen. Zichronam livracha, may the memories of those we love always be for a blessing. We invite you to stay standing because we are going to invite members of our brotherhood back up to the bima to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi, which you can find on page 4.
Rick died in a biking accident, and I was there at the time. So I just wanted to, for those who don't know, but I just want to say it was a great remembrance, and this is exactly what we would have loved. So thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you for saying that. Well, let's bless the Shabbat with some motzi, some more Freilich. Share that chala. We, of course, going to invite Yale and Elizabeth back to the bima. They shared so much of their music with us. We have to share our music with them. It's really unfortunate that Kendra, Alana, and Saul have COVID. They're doing okay. But we're going to have to teach them how to sing Ose Shalom. Remember, we have to sing it loud, sing it proud. Shabbat shalom. Good Shabbat.
So I just want to say, Elizabeth and I will be playing, but two fine Bay Area musicians are joining us, so it'll be a quartet. Gentleman named Dave Mack on guitar, and what is, and Dan Fisley? We'll find out on bass. So we'll be contrabass, guitar, Elizabeth vocals, and myself, so it'll be a quartet.
And me again.
Oh, yes. We're gonna
I'll just
call-
leave it up to all. Please stay for dessert and say hi to each other. Thank